Now then, guys, welcome back to the George Scaife LFC channel. The 10 a.m. Liverpool Latest stream is here. Today we're talking all things Athletic Club. I believe it's Athletic Club and not Bilbao. I've always called it Athletic Bilbao, but Athletic Club, we've got two games against them today. One, I believe, 5 o'clock and one maybe is 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Very interesting, the kind of setup to all this, because we're going to go strong in the first half, or the first game, sorry, and then play a weakened team in the second, play some of the kids and rotate. Is it going to be the same, but the other way around? Will's in the chat. Hello, Will. Roger's in the chat. Morning. So I want to talk teams. I've got some lineups on the screen now, which I'll show you in due course. I just want to get people in chat. Day and hello. If you're watching this on catch up, by the way, yeah, leave a like on the channel. Leave a like on the vid every morning, 10 a.m. I mean, I say every morning, maybe 5 times a week, 4 times a week. I'll tell you that the night before when I'm not live in the morning. So hopefully you can make this part of your routine. Shay's in here, Bog's in here, Bog's always in here, Connor is in here. TDR, morning to you as well. Let's just get it started with perhaps a potential lineup. We could go with Owen, Wing is in here, morning mate. Isak's going to be able to play. Well, mate, I hope so. I've got my coffee, and if you're in the TikTok, guys, get into the YouTube. We're talking all things Athletic Club, both of the games. I'll run you through some of my ideas for lineups. Now, I'm looking at something like this. This will there's two teams in my opinion. There's a first half team. It's quite confusing because it's two games. A first half of the first game team. I think that team starts either of the games. I think something like this plays. I think starts Mamardashvili in goal, because I don't know if Alisson's fully. Don't know what's going on with Alisson. So I think Mamardashvili in goal. I think Bradley will start with Konate, Van Dijk, and Kirkes. I think that will be the starting 5 against Palace. I think it'll be the starting 5, or 4, I should say, excluding goalkeeper, against Bournemouth in the first week as well. I don't know if Gravenberch starts the game. I've gone for Jones and McAllister. In fact, I just think they counter each other quite well. I was quite impressed by Curtis Jones in the previous game. Generic names in here. Hope you well met one of the members on the channel. Hi, Aiden's in here. Dylan's in here. Got to give the 90. Yeah, so I think this team gets the majority of the game. Gakpo starts wide left. I've gone for Wirtz in behind Ekitike. And I think Salah starts towards the right. The only thing about this team is the midfield. Does Gravenberch play? Does Szoboszlai play? Because I've got him in this team here, in this kind of second team. Maybe Freddie Woodman. I don't know if Pagey's available. I think Woodman's definitely available to play in goal in this, either the first game or the second game, whichever. This is just my rotated team. I think Robertson plays left back. I think Tsimikas fills in at centre back with Endo. I mean, it's like makeshift, right? But it's literally all we've got. Like, if you can give me another centre half pairing that'll work there, I'm happy to take on ideas. But I don't think there are any. Seriously, I think that is it, guys. If you're in the TikTok, get into the YouTube. We're previewing the Bilbao game today, all games. I think Frimpong starts wide right, not as a right winger. I think he'll start as a right back. I don't know if we have enough options to really to rotate heavily there. So I think he'll just start in his preferred position. I've gone with Gravenberch on there only just because they've played together a couple times now in pre-season. And I like how they play together. I think they're both quite similar as well. I think Naoni plays that deep line playmaker, and Gravenberch could be have more of an advanced role maybe in this game. And then Szoboszlai as well, kind of doing the work in here. Because you've got Elliott, I think it allows maybe Gravenberch to get forward at times. He did it against AC Milan to various standards at times, but I don't think he was very good in that game. But he was certainly maybe a bit further forward. And then Ngamoa, I think we'll start maybe a second game. I don't know if this will be the first team or the second team. I don't know if. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the strong team will be the first game, or do you reckon the strong team will be the second game? I don't know. I don't think there's a right answer, really. Do you know what I mean? I don't think. I think, to be fair, I think we'll just start strong. I see the argument for starting weaker and you build up. You keep the fans in the ground, that kind of thing, for the second game. But end of the day, Arislot's not bothered about the fans in the ground. He's bothered about winning the game, right? So, second, which one's that? Strong second. Either or. I'm not going. No, anyone going in the chat? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you leave a like on the vid, guys, if you're enjoying, or if you end up enjoying the live stream. Make sure you leave a like. It really helps out. I think it's a really interesting situation at striker. With Nunes, with Ekitike, there's not many more options. Wirtz could play there. Wirtz has played there all year. All pre-season, sorry. Either Nunes plays and starts, or I don't think he plays at all. with the rumours about him right now, especially with Saudi, that's really heating up. I think it'll be a similar thing to Luis Diaz, in which he's just left out the team and not played at all. I don't see a world in which he doesn't start and then comes on. I don't see why he would do that. Strong first. Okay, interesting. I've got to be in bed if anyone. Oh God, yeah, 4 a.m. Play at 11 a.m. Right, interesting. that is rough. Strong first like last year. I agree with that. I agree, and I think a few people are saying, well, maybe we could. This is the first team I've chosen here. Maybe we could like half the first team, maybe play half a good team, half a bad team, and like spread it out. So you'd play maybe Robertson, Van Dijk, Endo, and Frimpong. You know what I mean? And you kind of take half and half. But I just think we're so close to the season now. McAllister's barely played. This way, you're getting your first starting back line in the same team. You're starting likely forwards in the same team as well. Maybe Ekatike won't play the full game. Maybe someone like, I don't know, maybe Kanate won't play the full game. Likely, probably all of these players won't play the full game. And then the young kids will come in. And when I say young kids, I mean like the kids. I don't mean like Naoni. I don't mean like Engamoa. I mean the young kids. Do you know what I mean? Guys, if you're in the TikTok, get into the YouTube now. Do you think both teams play 90 minutes? I don't, to be honest. I think they'll play 70, 60, 65, 70. I think some players will play 90. I can see McAllister playing 90 because he hasn't played much at all. I can see, I don't know, because the thing is, right, so let's look at the first. So this is the team I think is strongest. In pre-season right now, we're playing half each. So this first team will play 45, then they'll rotate with another team to play the other 45. But the other team that would rotate with is that team. So it's like, you can't, so for example, where Salah might come off in the 70th minute, Elliot's not going to come on because Elliot's playing in an hour later, right? So who are you bringing on there? You've got players like Ben Doak, right, who could definitely feature in this team. You've got loads of young players. I think McConnell plays like that. Jaden Dans as well. Kumas. There's loads of young players who, I'll be honest with you, aside from those players who kind of featured in that Klopp final, Chelsea one, like aside from that, I'm not too clued up on Liverpool's youth, like the youth of the youth. So yeah, interesting. I assume it'll be that. I assume it'll be two teams who play 70 each, unless both teams play 45 minutes each game. No, I don't see that. I just think you don't play 45 and then rest them because you risk injury then even more so, don't you? I'll send again. Sorry, mate, I missed this one. I feel like Isak has been rather screwed over. I hope he comes. Well, I don't know. I think neither of them have been great. I don't agree with Isak abandoning training. I don't care what your situation is. I don't think that's the right answer in any situation, really. Why not Gravenberch in the strong team? To be honest, he's played a lot of pre-season so far, hasn't he? I think was it AC Milan? He played more than he probably should have. Was it AC Milan? I don't know. Let me bring this back up again. I just think firstly it balances quite well. I think to get Szoboszlai and Gravenberch in this kind of B team, quote unquote, is quite nice. I think the balance here is equally as nice. If you put Gravenberch into this team, right? Say Gravenberch is in here with McAllister and Wirtz, looks a better team, but then you've got Jones, Naoni, and Szoboszlai. I don't like a Jones and Naoni pivot, to be honest. I know it's pre-season, right? We're not about winning the game, but you've got to try and get these pairings, these rotations, and that's what you're looking for in pre-season. That's why I'm putting these four together as a back four, and you play your strongest back four. I think it makes a lot of sense in terms of fluidity. Kirk is obviously playing next to a new player. Van Dijk likewise. And hopefully Grant gets rested more. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, if you play him in this game in the first team, proper intensity, 90 minutes, are you following on from what we did last year? Are you risking overplaying him again? You know what I mean? Best Liverpool fan. I've got Florian Wirtz. I think Wirtz is a no-brainer, surely. Like 8.5 million. Is there a chance one or two players in the first game play 45 and then play some minutes in the second? I mean, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt you. I mean, to risk cramping up and all that kind of muscle season, I don't think it's a good idea to be playing full intensity, then have an hour off, and then come back on. I don't. That's why rolling subs are shit as well. Like in pre-season, we saw rolling subs a bit, but it wasn't for particularly an hour's break. I think Morton had about maybe half an hour off the pitch, and even then, it was pretty low intensity. Hopefully Gravenberch gets rested. Yes. We'll seriously need to buy a centre back. Well, yeah. I mean, look at this. That's the team, in my opinion, will play today, or something like that. And it's like, well, hold on. There's not one centre back on the pitch. Gravenberch could play centre half. If he does, I would rather. Well, okay. If Gravenberch and Endo play in the same team, I'd certainly rather Gravenberch play in midfield and Endo play centre back. One, because that's where he'll play next season. Endo, if he comes in, centre back and DM. And also, two, you're playing Gravenberch in his best position. This is about playing your best players in the best positions, right? You know what I mean? It's pre-season. I don't understand this whole. Well, we could try this. We could do this, and it'll be really. Yeah, we could. But hold on. The idea of this is we're trying to prepare for the season. You're trying to put your best players in your best positions. People are saying, "Oh, well, I think actually against Bournemouth, Gravenberch will drop into centre back and we'll play a back three." And it's like, okay, well, great opinion, mate, but it's nonsense because we've not done it all pre-season. Why would Arne Slot do something all pre-season just to get to the first game and change it? Just because why not? It's pointless, isn't it? Just going to give a quick shout out to the members on the channel. They're on the bottom there, on the little banner down below. The members of the channel. There's too many now. I can't even remember them. I used to remember LFC Foxy and Generic Name. They were the only two guys we had. It was like, wow, we've got two members. And I was LFC Foxy, Generic Name, Spency, Edward, Brickboy, Mickify. There might be someone else as well I need to add on there. So thank you guys. If you're in the TikTok, get into the YouTube stream. We're previewing that Bilbao game. Gravenberch suspended, missed his first game. Yeah, that's a fair point, but he plays against Palace, right? He plays against Palace, and still, you still want to get him in his primary position, right? I don't see the argument of. Hold on, sorry. I don't see the argument of playing Gravenberch centre half just to play Endo in midfield. It's like Gravenberch as a 6 is probably a 9 out of 10. Endo as a 6 is probably a 7 out of 10. If you put Gravenberch to a centre half, why would you play the 7 out of 10 in the best position? You get the best players in. Do you know what I mean? He will miss the Bournemouth game. Yeah, it's an interesting game, and I'm quite excited to do a match preview for that one. And stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe on the channel so you don't miss that. At 10 a.m, the morning, it'll be the morning of that. In fact, I'm not even here for that. I'll do on the morning of that day, but I'm not here for the game, so I can't do a match reaction on that one. But it's interesting as to who will play defensive midfield, right? I think it might have to be Endo. McAllister's played the least minutes in the squad of the first team, certainly, all pre-season. I think that means today might play perhaps a 90-minute game. I won't be surprised at all if McAllister does that. But then who do you play as a holding player? McAllister's maybe not ideally match fit. Endo is less good. Bacetic is injured. Morton's looking like he's going to Lyon. So it's like, really, who do you play against Bournemouth? We'll do a full preview for that next week, by the way. So let's not get too distracted here. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, make sure you leave a like down below. I'm somehow still hungover from 2 days ago. I mean, this is not even funny. You probably tell by my voice. I'm so sorry. You're doing a watch along. I'm leaning on not doing a watch along today. I don't know. I don't enjoy it too much, to be honest. I'd rather watch it myself. And also, there's 2 games on. It's like, right. So if I would do the first watch along, I'll probably have to do the second. It's just quite. And also, I was going to just do the first game, and then I thought, well, hold on. What if you don't play the first team in the first game? And it's like, oh, I've got to do the second. No, just leave it. Forget it. Harrison's in here. Hello, mate. Nice profile picture, by the way. So it was like McAllister double pivot. That is interesting. That is an interest. I don't mind it. I think we lacked McAllister against AC Milan. Someone in the first half, someone who could play the ball. So that would maybe work a bit better, yeah. Someone's like deeper against Bournemouth. I think that could be interesting. I think they counter each other quite well. I would lean on playing someone like Curtis Jones against Bournemouth. I think he's very good in them kind of games when you're a team's going to come and press you, right? So Bournemouth, I know they've lost a few players, but I assume Bournemouth under Areola are going to be the same pressing side. And I think Jones is so good at kind of beating that press. He's so good at keeping the ball and breaking the lines of passes. I think playing Jones against someone at home as well to Bournemouth is ideally the right time to play Jones. So maybe a Jones and McAllister too, with Szoboszlai in front of them, with Wirtz in front of them, with Gakpo wide left, Salah wide right. That's the team I would play against Bournemouth, but that's a while away. Where is Bacetic? Because he's injured at the moment. I think he's had a surgery on his leg. I think he's had surgery on his leg. If Szoboszlai presses slot in that deeper role, do you think he might start with Gravenberch throughout the season? I don't see it. I don't see, even if he does impress, can he be that good? Can he be, Gravenberch was one of our best players last year. Yes, Szoboszlai was good as well, but can he be that good in a six to warrant moving one of our best players out of the most important position in midfield as a six? I don't think so. Szoboszlai, I said last week, I think Szoboszlai will be an unbelievable six. I think he's got all the attributes physically. I think technically he's got the attributes as well. He's kind of running power. He turns up ground. He is a presence all over the pitch. I do think actually he's improving his defensive side, not just positionally. He was always very good placing himself on the pitch, but also in the tackle. I think he's really improving. He's becoming a lot more committed into the tackle, a lot more kind of sliding challenges going in from Szoboszlai. He's got that kind of bastard about him as well. That kind of, Gerrard wasn't. It's like Gerrard was nasty. Gerrard was very, very nasty. I'm not comparing Szoboszlai to Gerrard, but as a number 8, both wearing the number 8, Szoboszlai's got that nasty kind of streak in him, I think, which not many people speak about, but I think he has got that. He can also tackle, standing tackle as well. Of course, I'd rather Gravenberch in there. I'm not saying Szoboszlai will play as a number 6 at all, maybe this season, but I think it is a nice option to have. And this is a player who's not limited to a number 10 or a number 8 or a right back that we've seen recently or a centre back. It's a nice option to have. Even a false 9, Szoboszlai could play in arguably the most positions on our pitch, I reckon. James, what's the latest on Isak? So, I think I put it in the title, but I forgot to actually get some screenshots up about it. It's the exact same as far as I'm concerned. He's back in Newcastle training now. Eddie Howe's not happy, which I agree with. Can I just say I agree with Eddie Howe calling Isak out for throwing his dummy out. We've had a $199 donation, mate. Real McCoy. Am I saying that right, mate? Real McCoy. Thank you so much for the generous tip, mate. I'd rather play Trey over rubbish phones. Does that mean Jones? Because I'm trying to. I don't know if that was a typo there, mate. But yeah, I assume Jones. I don't think Jones is rubbish. Firstly, are you talking about the first team here? Let me go back to it. I think Jones. I really like Curtis Jones. I just think in terms of balance, it really works in this team. I'd rather play Jones with Bradley. I'd rather play Jones with the previous team as opposed to playing Jones with in front of a back two of centre backs. Sorry, in front of a back two of a DM and a left back. I think Jones will work better in the first team. Also, he knows Conor Bradley's game, and also he knows Salah's game. And I think Jones, which a lot of people aren't speaking about, I think Jones will play against Bournemouth. I really think he will with Gravenberch injured. Oh, sorry, suspended. Guys, if you're in the TikTok, get into the YouTube. We're live. We're talking about Bilbao Athletic Club. Some people in the chat here will bring comments up on screen. Szoboszlai's kind of inconsistent sometimes. I get that entirely. However, I just think it's more than meets the eye with Szoboszlai. There's so much underneath his game, his performances that mean a lot for us. I think he goes so under the radar, in my opinion. I think this one's from Park. I think Nayoni will be in the second 11 this season, and that's why I was given 42. Yeah, that change of number does indicate a bit more trust in him, maybe play more games. Yep. But then again, he's not like number 17, so I don't know. 42, does it mean too much? Are we reading too much into that number change there? Maybe not. Jones is underrated. I possibly agree. I don't know. I change my mind very frequently on Jones because I think he's so hot and cold on and off. He's so good at some things and so bad at other things. And I don't think I think Elliott's our best case for that in terms of a midfielder who's so great at things and so bad at things. But I think Jones is probably second in that list. Like, I think what Elliott's great, what he's so amazing in creativity and what he makes up for with a great passion, and he's so good on the ball. He protects the ball very well. I don't think he's defensively good at all. I think he's weak in the challenge. I think he's not very strong. I don't think he's very quick. I think at times I've not been impressed by his not work rate off the ball. That's wrong, but his just positioning off the ball. So Jones is the same. I think Jones, maybe defensively is a bit more weak than maybe a Gravenberch or a McAllister. But I do think Jones on the ball is like, my word. Jones is so good on the ball. He's so underrated. We've had a €2.45 donation, mate. Thank you. Is that euro or dollar? Euro. I get really confused with them two. That's euro, right? Thank you so much. Noah. Scaife, why is Gakpo so slept on, even by our own? I don't know. I mean, I'm criticising myself here because he's not in my starting 11 for next season, but I really like him. In fact, I've got a video coming soon on Gakpo, and I think this will be his big season. Not that last year wasn't. It was. I just think if you think about it, right, he's the best left winger in the league right now, Gakpo. He probably is. Like, I get there's maybe Anthony Gordon, who's faster and maybe got more output. Or there's maybe players like Cunha who are more of inside left forwards. But I just think an out and out left winger, Gakpo is the best. He's the most effective. I think he's done the best last year for a team in terms of proving himself and winning trophies as a team. Maybe Chelsea, they won the Club World Cup, but is their left winger as good as Gakpo? Maybe Palace won the cup, but is their left winger as good as Gakpo at the time? At the time, it was like Eze, right? But Eze's more of an inside. All of Eze's work comes inside the middle of the pitch for me. Yeah, he plays maybe off the left. But I just think Gakpo is the best left winger in the league. And I think he'll take that this season and hopefully run with it. A bit more pressure on him now. He is the starter. He's not up there with Diaz anymore. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe Diaz leaving will mean Gakpo, gets too complacent in his team, in his position, and the performances drop off. I don't think so. I don't think he's the kind of character to do that and let it slip. I think with Engamoa coming in there, gives him a kick up the arse big time. If Engamoa wasn't in there, you'd be like, whoa, okay, Gakpo's the only option here, really. He could have a bad game and still get a game. That's never a good thing. But yes, mate, thank you for your generous donation there. $2.49 from Noah's Noah. I've got a $1.99 as well from Real McCoy earlier in the stream. Thank you, guys. That support does not go unnoticed. It all goes back into the stream. Every single penny goes back into paying for StreamYard, because this is like £35 a month, I think. And there's one more that's £90 a month, which I'm going to, I think, go for soon. It depends how it gets on. But everything goes back into this. There's 74 people in here, guys. Get into the YouTube stream down in the that's in link in the bio, that one. But ideally, guys, you leave a like on the channel. It really does support. It's free, it's easy, and it goes a long way. Gakpo can't beat his man. 1v1. I don't know. I get your predictability point, because he goes inside a lot. He's not got that kind of where Diaz maybe would have a bit of success wide. Then he could maybe take him on the inside. I like that about Engamoa. Engamoa was so good at that against AC Milan. Was it up against Tomori or someone? He took him inside and he got beat. And then literally 4 minutes later, took him outside, beat him, and then put a ball in, a really good passing for someone. So Engamoa is more unpredictable. I think more of a live wire than Gakpo. But Gakpo is certainly more mature. You can tell, like, Gakpo's decision-making is so much better for me than Engamoa's. And that's expected. That's not a criticism of him, because lad's 16. It's like, of course, that's not going to come yet, right? Gakpo is obviously, evidently, the more mature player. And that's good. That's fine. That's predictable. Watch along later. There won't be a watch along today. One, I've lost my voice a bit here, and two, there's 2 games on. It's like I'm not watching both games. I watch both games. I'm not watching them and then talking about them. And it's like that is a long stream. That's like a 5-hour stream, mate. And I've got to do match reactions. I would rather watch the first game, do a match reaction, and post it more in depth and good. I think that's better. That's the kind of angle I'm going for. These live streams, by the way, there's 80 people in it. These live streams will be. I want to do 10 a.m. every day, but I don't know if people would rather see them on the evening. I'm going to do a poll, I think, and try and work out a way to do this. Can Szoboszlai play on the left? I mean, yeah, it's not going to negatively affect anyone, but you'd rather play him off the right, I assume. Let's just have a brief look again for people who've just joined at my 11 and second 11 against Athletic Bilbao. We're there. I feel like we could for an ad break then. We didn't. I just went for a coffee. Right. I think there are 2 strong 11s that play the game. And I think they maybe play 70 minutes, 2 90 minutes each. Maybe McAllister might play 90. Maybe Wirtz might play 90. Or, you know what I mean? I think if it is a 70-minute rotation with this team, players like Jayden Danns come in, players like Ben Doak, McConnell, Kumas, these are the kind of players who will be involved, as opposed to maybe bringing Salah off for Harvey Elliott. Because weirdly, Harvey Elliott's in that second team. Like, it's very hard to work out who should play. But I'm going to go through my team nonetheless. I think Kirkus plays left back. I think Van Dijk and Konate play as a defensive partnership. I don't see a reason you change it. Now we've only got, one preseason game in Palace, which essentially is a preseason game. I see it as anyway. And then you're into full season. Play your best 2 together. What's the point in? Some people are saying, well, we could play Van Dijk and Tsimikas or Endo and Konate. Well, no, because you get your best players playing together. We're so late on now into preseason. It's crunch time now. It's not about fitness so much. It's about, especially for centre-halves, it's about getting them regular game time with their pals. Certainly Kirk is next to them as well. These 2 have only played a handful of games together. I want them singing off the same hymn sheet. Like, no doubt they will. And then I've got Bradley off the right. I think Bradley will start against Palace, I think he'll also start against Bournemouth. I have gone for McAllister and Jones. I actually think Jones will play against Bournemouth in the first game of the season with Gravenberch suspended. I think them kind of home games against, with respect to Bournemouth, the lower Premier League half teams. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bournemouth are probably in and around the middle pack of the Premier League, but they have lost Kirkes, Huijsen. They are probably going to lose Zabar and the MC, and it's like their team, certainly defensively, on paper looks a lot weaker. So I'd rather play Jones in them kind of games. Bournemouth, granted, are gonna come at you. They're so great off the ball. I think Jones is really press resistant, and he can really work his kind of magic in midfield there alongside McAllister. I've not played Gravenberch in the first 11. Listen, if he might play, who's asked? That's fine. But there's no live later in the day, mate. Unfortunately, Salah obviously plays. I think Wirtz obviously plays. I think Ekitike starts. I think he's the one who might not play 90 minutes. I think maybe Jaden Dans might come in at 70, maybe. And then I think Gakpo starts in that first team. If that's Ngamoa, I would not be surprised. Then you go into the second 11 for the second game. Yes, guys, there are 2 games. I think Freddie Woodman plays in goal, maybe Peishi if he's there. I think your back four's very makeshift with Robertson, Tsimikas, whoever plays fullback here. I'm not too bothered. And who plays centre-back. Endo plays centre-back with Frimpong playing as a right-back. I don't think Frimpong plays as a right winger in this game. Guys, if you're in the TikTok chat, get into the YouTube. I just think we're not blessed with options in defence, really. I think Frimpong should play in his primary role. Again, we try and get players playing in their best positions, hence why Szoboszlai plays in the 10. Hence why Nunes starts up front and Ngamo starts left back. This scenario here, this centre-half option is... I mean, I've just realised you can't see the mouse, so sorry if I keep saying like this here, this. I'm not saying what you can't see the mouse, can you? I just think play your best players in their best roles. Hence why Ekitike is up front in the first half, right? Not left wing or whatever. I think Naoni plays in midfield with someone, and I've gone with Gravenberch. If that's Curtis Jones, I won't be surprised at all. I just think they've played together quite a bit in pre-season. I like what I'm seeing from both of them. I really hope Naoni gets some game time, and as someone pointed out very rightly before, given that upgrade, I guess, in shirt number, maybe indicates more trust in Naoni for next season. So that'll be very interesting to see how much game time he gets, but I'd start him here. He's really impressed me in pre-season. I actually think he's been one of our top performers, certainly youngsters in pre-season. Trey Naoni, I've been really impressed. I think his temperament's great. He's very mature for his age. What is he, 18 or something? I lose track with these young lads. And no more so than Ngamoa. It's quite confusing having Ngamoa and Naoni. I get them because they're both with N and they're both young and like they're playing the same kind of teams. And they're on the same side as well. And they play literally together. Like they've got a great relationship, these two. Hence why, by the way, I'd play them in the same team. Some people are saying, well, Ngamoa could play in this first team here. I don't disagree at all with that. I think he's been more than good enough. He's shown what he can do to get in this team, and he'll fit in. He won't be out of place. But I've really been impressed by Naoni and Ngamoa's play together at the same time. Their link-up play is great. They've obviously played together in youth teams, etc. And I'd bounce off that. Again, I'd put these players in their best positions, and I'd make it as favourable as possible for them. Dexter is going to the game. I'd rather Isak on the left. Well, hopefully, mate. Do you reckon 4 keepers will play 45 each? Again, I don't really know. I don't know if Is Alisson even there? I've assumed not. I've just gone Mamadashvili to play 90. I don't see an issue with playing 90 minutes for a goalkeeper, certainly at this stage of the game. Ekitike only played 4 games on the left. I entirely agree with Park. If we can get it... Yeah, for me, Ekitike plays on our bench when we start, but that's for a different day. Nice kit, someone said, thank you, mate. And if you're interested in getting involved in the stream, get into the YouTube chat. There's nearly 80 people in there. On to Dominic Szoboszlai. I've put Szoboszlai in this team, one, because I think actually it comes down to Nunes, right? There's a bit of a knock-on effect here. So I think Nunes either starts a game or doesn't play at all. I don't see a world in which Nunes comes off the bench with a lot of the transfer speculation around his future right now. The similar thing with Luis Diaz against AC Milan, just didn't feature because you take his name out of the limelight, right? He's got other things going on. So I get entirely why if he doesn't play today. If he does play, I think Szoboszlai plays in there. If Nunes doesn't play, I think Szoboszlai genuinely could play false 9. Or I even think Elliot could play false 9. I even think Ben Doak could play false 9. We saw that briefly against, I've entirely forgotten who that was. I don't think he was very good. I will say that at false 9, but we could do something like that. I think maybe Wirtz could play false 9. The only thing is you don't want to play Wirtz in your second string team quote unquote. You want to get someone. It's like, who could play number 9 in this team here? Maybe a Jaden Dans, maybe just a straight swap for a young player to play in this team up front. Someone's like a player there. Elliot, maybe Dan's actually. I'm going to assume Nunes plays. I'm then going to assume Elliot plays off the right, which we've seen quite a lot so far. But again, he doesn't really play off the right. He's played kind of inside right, hasn't he, I guess. And he's actually played a lot of game time with Frimpong. Have you noticed that in pre-season? These two have played pretty much every game together. It's like Gakpo and Kirkers have played pretty much every game together. So playing these two in this game, again, eases the transition. And I like it because they're both... I think they're both quite compatible. In terms of the positions to take up, I think Elliot likes to drift inside. He does all his best work towards the middle of the pitch. He's not fast enough to take his man on wide. He's not particularly... he's skillful, of course, but he's not like an Ngamoa skillful where he can just shake players off and sprint past them. So Elliot kind of occupies the middle zones on the right-hand side. And Frimpong likes to obviously overlap. So in that essence, it really works there. And that's my team. I'd love to know what you guys kind of think. There's my first 11 there. Guys, if you're in the TikTok, get into the YouTube stream. 10 a.m. streams every day on YouTube. Make sure, by the way, you can turn notifications on. So if you're thinking, oh, why do I keep missing the stream? On the subscribe bit, it should say now, by the way, you are subscribed. You shouldn't have to subscribe. It'll say subscribe. You can turn the bell on so you get notified every time it uploads. That's the only way I can think of you getting notified every time this stream happens, because it'll be a 10 a.m. stream, hopefully every day. That'll be where we get to at some point. But for now, obviously, whilst we're growing, I'm thinking 4 times a week, guys. But I'm really enjoying doing these. It's a really relaxed format. You got a beautiful t-shirt, nice one, mate. You got a blue. I genuinely thought it was a beautiful t-shirt. I was like, Everton fan, that's weird. This is, I believe, one of the only ever, make myself big on here, blue kits Liverpool had. Like, obviously, it was the away, was it the third? I'm more inclined to say it was a third shirt, but it was like 2012 maybe. So yeah, there was a lot of controversy at the time, wasn't there, about this kit? It doesn't look right. It's weird. Right, let's get into some of these comments, guys. Sorry, I was reading out my teams. Right, let's get into some of these. From Dexter, I'm going to the game. The game's at 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Christ, surely you can't stay for that 5 a.m. one. That literally ruins your whole... forget that, mate. That'd ruin your whole day. Will, the games are... Oh, I've read that one. George, I have 2 free tickets going. Do you want... let Ben know, guys, if anyone wants these tickets. I cannot go now. Short notice, unfortunately. But, Ben, hope you get them sold, mate, or whatever. Charlie, even if we did sign Isak, I do think Wirtz will start. Sorry, I don't think Ekatika would start this. Yeah. Yes, I agree. We played Newcastle quite early on, don't we, in the season? So that'll be very interesting as to if we do sign Isak. Will it be before that game, after that? I assume before and he just doesn't play. I mean, imagine that. Imagine if we sign him tomorrow, say, and he plays against Newcastle. Oh, I mean, that'll just be fucking Jesus. Ben Barks, George, would you like 2 free... I've read that one. Sorry, Ben. Second time reading that one. But yeah, unfortunately, I cannot go to that game. If anyone wants them, let Ben know. Was the third? I think it was the third. Yeah, I'll be watching. Says Will, unreal. Would this be your starting first 11 first game of the season? Which one's that, mate? I don't know. I've gone through my starting team. I think it's different because there's a different scenario with Bournemouth and Gravenberch missing that game. So my starting 11 every game would not be the same as the Bournemouth game. I think that's an individual game which you work around. Yeah, I've enjoyed the stream, actually. I've enjoyed putting these ideas out there because it's a very interesting format, firstly, for a pre-season game. We did it last season, obviously. You play 2 games in one. I think there was it Tottenham this year played 2 pre-season games and they were both in different stadiums in the same day? Unless I've made that up entirely. This one's from Dan Maca15. Hope you're well, mate. Do you think we sign another attacker if Chiesa and Nunes leave? Or does it mean the youngsters like Ngamoa and Doak are likely to feature more? I think we sign someone else. I think we need to sign someone else. I do think worst case scenario, we don't sign someone else. Ngamoa can absolutely fill in there. And Doak was very good at Borough. I've got a mate who's a Borough fan. He loved him. I do think maybe he lacked a bit of end product at times and does now. And the same's with probably true of Ngamoa, right? So you've got 2 players there who are granted both exciting, both quick, both really great options off the bench, certainly. But are they going to go on and win you the game? I don't know. And they're also very young, right? You don't want to put too much faith in these youngsters. Obviously, you want to put belief in them. That's not what I'm saying. But having that much like, your first subs both were under 21. That's like very, it's a risk at times. I think when last year we had Gakpo could come off the bench and do like a really disciplined, mature performance. I hope Ngamoa does that, but I don't think we should be expecting it anytime soon. And that's not a problem at all. I need to blow my nose here. Have I got a tissue on me? Don't think I do. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right, I'm just going to go over here and blow my nose. Sorry. I'll do this on camera. Sorry, guys. Oh, God. We badly need to sign another centre-back. I agree. I actually think... here we go. This one. Where do you rank the new kits in terms of... right, I've done a kit ranking video. It's out on the channel now. All time, I think the home kit's all time up there. Yeah, definitely. Bradley, I agree. I think it's our biggest. I think it is our biggest priority now. I think you could argue right wing backup, maybe a left wing backup as well. I just think. I mean, look at this team might play today, right? And there's two a centre back and a left back playing. Sorry, a DM and a left back playing centre half. With 2 games to the start of the season. And that ain't good enough, right? No other team's doing that. And it's like Liverpool have just won the league. Liverpool spending all this money on these great attacking players. I mean, granted, 2 fullbacks as well. But I just think this centre-half position's been neglected a lot. I mean, look at Konate. Thankfully, them Konate rumours to Real Madrid have gone a bit quiet. Probably the quietest I've heard them, really. But unfortunately for us, so the Mark Gahey 2 Liverpool rumours. And all the rumours around that. We've lost Kwanzaa as well. It's a position I think's been perhaps forgotten. Ultimately, what do I know? I'm sure they know what they're doing and they'll sign someone eventually. And I'm just sat here worrying for no reason. But I can't help but get worried about that. I can't help but be worried, to be honest, yeah. Who is your current favourite player in the squad? For me, it's Conor Bradley. Well, it was Luis Diaz. Will Wright's been in that. Okay, interesting. Will he play today? Will he play today? Did you get it? It's a joke. He's called Will. Any news on Gahey? I don't think so. It's gone very quiet, this, unfortunately. Konate, not monsters. Also need to lock Konate down to a new deal. I can't see it, to be honest with you. I think he'll leave. I do think he'll leave. I actually think he'll leave on a free next year. I don't see him leaving this summer for, 40 million quid? I don't know. It's just so late on. Like, he's played every pre-season game. You look at Nunes, and Nunes might get left out the team today because of transfer talk. Diaz was left out the team because of transfer talk. Morton today, I assume, will be left out the team because of... Do you know what I mean? So why is Konate playing every game? Maybe the talks of a centre-back have died down as Robertson and Tsimikas are going to do a job there. No, I do think they'll do a job there. That's why I don't think we'll sign 2 centre-backs, because we've got those 2 who could play there. We've got Endo who could play there. It's just not ideal. Like, I'm a big fan of playing your players in their actual positions. I've never understood this whole, firstly, like inverted fullbacks. I get it works, but when I did a video once, a couple of weeks back, people were like, we need to sign Hato. Hato, I think he's on to Chelsea now. Left back who could play centre back. It's like, people are going, he's really flexible and he could play inverted. And it's like, well, just play left back and left back. Well, I don't understand this whole thing. We could buy a striker who could play. He could fill in at centre back if we need. Goalkeeper could play right wing. No, sign a player who can play in the position well. So this whole, we could play Robertson and Tsimikas there. We could play Endo. Of course we could. We could play me there if you want. I could step up, but it's not ideal. And we just won the league. We're going for it again. Assuming bookies favs to win the thing, with your third choice centre half as Robertson or Tsimikas. Like that is not winning you any trophies, right? And touch wood, like these Gomez and Konate, they're not the most injury. What's the word there? Injury proof players of all time, are they? I don't know. What do I know? I just think we need to sign someone there desperately. It's becoming a big concern in my eyes. If you haven't already, guys, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like on the stream. It is the easiest thing you can do to support the channel. Should Frimpong start over Bradley to let him... Yes, I hear the argument. I mean, to be honest with you, it's quite a good argument because Frimpong's not really played in that first team as such. And when he has played, he's played kind of towards the attacking side of the pitch, as a right winger. So, yeah, James, I hear your point there. I also think it's the other way around, though. I do think Bradley is our best right back. I think he'll play in the cup final. I think he'll play against Bournemouth. So I just think he should play in here with his mates who he's going to be playing around, in my opinion. I hear the argument for both sides. Bell also agreeing with Frimpong. Let's get some comments today, right? Okay, then. In our first team, let's go Palace. Against Palace in the cup, it would just start Frimpong or Bradley. Put a comment below. Just a surname, Frimpong or Bradley. Frimpong or Bradley. Get a comment in who should play against Palace. For me, it's absolutely Conor Bradley. I'd love to know your thoughts, though. Any reasoning why as well? That'd be cool. Yeah, mate, that's a good point. That's a good point. James says Bradley. Dan Bradley. 44. Hashim Bradley. Bradley says Bradley, guys. Shock. Bradley better defensively. He is better defensively. And again, I think that's why you play in this game. For example, here, right, I've got Frimpong in with Gravenberch, who is our number 6, our leading number 6. So you play Frimpong to complement him. You play Frimpong to complement Endo, who I actually, by the way, I really like Endo on the right of a back three. I think that's a really nice position for him, actually, especially with Frimpong in front of him. Endo's not the quickest of players. Having Frimpong's recovery pace complements Endo nicely. Endo's very good at reading the game. He's also very aggressive. And again, I spoke about Elliott playing with Frimpong. The kind of positions they take up are quite complementary. Elliott likes to tuck into that right-hand side and do his best work in the middle of the pitch. And Frimpong likes to get over and overlap. I need to stop moving the mouse. Like you can see, you can't see the mouse, right? Can you? I assume not, because I'm doing all these like things with the mouse, like you can't see it. So yeah, in my opinion, Bradley starts our biggest games. I'm Irish. What do you think of the essentials of an Irish slot centre back? Interesting, Elias. I mean, it goes without saying, right? You've got to be able to defend, obviously, but I think you've got to have composure. But again, that kind of goes without saying. Like you're a Premier League centre back. What Premier League centre back doesn't have ability on the ball? Doesn't have composure? Like you just need that to get in through the door now in the league. It's like maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you expected just to fucking head the thing out. Well, maybe 20 years ago, but now it's like your centre back has to be able to play almost up front to a decent level and not really be an eyesore. You're expected to be so good in so many areas of the pitch now. So I'd just say good on the ball and obviously smart defensively. I think having a bit of recovery pace as well with that high line we like to play. I think Konate is that typical Arnold slot centre back with a lot of his attributes. I do think Konate makes a couple mistakes, maybe a few too many. I think this valuation of like £80 million for Konate is nuts. I really do. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love him, and he's been very good for Liverpool, and I really see a bright future for him if he can stamp out those mistakes. We've also not really seen Konate next to another centre back who isn't as good as it. Like he's played with Van Dijk all his. It sounds like I'm bashing him. I'm not bashing Konate. All he's good, but playing next to Van Dijk's different to playing next to Kwanzaa. And we saw at the back end of last season. Was it Brighton? If I mistook that game, was it Brighton? He played with Kwanzaa, and it was like, what? That was just a car crash. Do you know what I mean? Was really impressed with Jones last season. Yeah, mate, I think he'll start against Bournemouth. I've got to say. Are these lineups confirmed? No, these are just my picks, mate. Just in my opinion. Yeah, the more I think about it, would depend on the opponent. Yes, that's a good point. I think against like your Man City's, your Arsenal's, your typical big sides, Bradley plays because he's more complete. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's going to get back and forward. Of course, Frimpong's going to do the same, but I'm yet to see him in one of those big games. I know Bradley can do it in the big games, and I know that Frimpong will as well. You know what I mean? Of course, he did it. Went unbeaten at Leverkusen. He was a massive part of that team. But I look at games like that Real Madrid game last year. Bradley was unreal. He was amazing. He was thrown in there as well. Generic name, one of the members on the chat, on the channel, sorry, hope you're well. I'd love to see, the hell's that? Kudjo? Am I? Oh, Curtis Jones. Bloody hell, mate. I've never heard Curtis Jones called Kudjo. I mean, I'm all for like nicknames and crap, but what the hell's that? C-U-J-O. I love it, though. I kind of respect that. Very shorthand. I'd love to see Kudjo in a starting 11 more this season, but our depth in midfield's amazing. Yeah, Jones is second choice. I mean, it's impossible to get it first team, right? In front of McAllister, certainly. And Jones plays ideally for me, off the left of the midfield three. I don't think he plays very well with Elliott. We saw that Was it against Brighton again, or was it against someone else? He played with Elliott in the same team. It was like, what the fuck's this? Neither of them can really tackle. They're both trying to do the same thing. They both want to be in the same positions. It didn't work. As good as the two players are, there is a world in which two talented players doesn't equal a good midfield, and that was one of them for me. They're just too similar. It's really hard to say. Frimpong might be undeniable. Yes. Well, yeah, you know what I mean? I'm saying we've not seen it from Frimpong in big games. I've no doubt in big games he'll do well. Not doubting him. As a character, he seems like the kind of guy to thrive in the big games as well. And also, look what he did in Germany, right? I assume, and Holland as well. I assume he steps up in these big games, or he wouldn't be in them teams. It's as simple as that. We wouldn't have signed him if he was going to fall in them big games. So I've no doubt he'll do it. It's just I've already seen it with my own eyes from Bradley. Do you know what I mean by that? It's like in... No, that's a bad example. I'm not going to that. Generic name. I don't know why I thought that was one of the nickname. Yeah, Curtis Jones. I've never heard that one for me. Interesting. You think Jones will start versus Bournemouth when I would say his fifth? Yes, I would. For me, he starts against Bournemouth. Obviously, Gravenberch isn't playing. He's suspended. And I think if you're going to play... Think of a typical side. If you could build a side, right, to play against where Curtis Jones would thrive. If you could put Curtis Jones into a game and you go, I'm going to predict Curtis Jones will have a good game here. I think it's someone like Bournemouth at home. First game of the season, by the way. And I'll tell you why this works. Firstly, first game of the season, you've got a lot to prove there. You know, you've got a position there pretty much handed on a plate. Gravenberch is suspended. You come in, no real risk. Like, obviously, it's the first game of the season. You want to get off winning. If you don't win that game, you're going to look at it at the end of the season and go, oh, we wouldn't have won the league if only we won Bournemouth at home. It's like you've got a bit of a free hit, more so than any other game in the season, more so than 5 games towards the end. You'd rather come in and maybe play the first. But that's not even the biggest point. The biggest point of the game is the positionally, is stylistically. Surely a team like Bournemouth who are going to come at you and try and win the ball high up the pitch. They were one of the highest pressing sides in terms of average positions in the season last year. I look at Kirkers, right? We signed Kirkers off the back of his ability to play on the front foot, high pressing, ability to win the ball back in their half, and Bournemouth do the same. Surely you're playing Jones against a team like that for a reason. Surely that's a good thing. Jones is so good at beating the press. He's so press resistant. He's really good at kind of picking out them passes, controlling the game, keeping the game ticking. And I think against someone like Bournemouth, certainly at home as well, that's a really good factor. Isn't it like the perfect Curtis Jones game? If you could handpick a Jones game, like for example, like I don't think it's Arsenal away. I don't think it's Man City away. I mean, he had a good game. I don't think it's Man City away typically. I just think Bournemouth away is a perfect game for him. And I think maybe less so for Szoboszlai. I think Szoboszlai's more suited to the Champions League games, suited to the bigger, like Man United. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm just going to blow my nose. Apologies. I hope you get what I kind of mean by that. I think Jones' versatility works against him. He can do so many roles, but non-perfectly. Yeah, that's a fair comment. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the same with Harvey Elliott. I think these players often get painted with the same brush, perhaps fairly as well. Do you reckon today is 2 different squads, or will it be a mixture of the first team? I've got 2 teams. I'll put them on here briefly. I'm going to call this live a day, by the way. We're live for 50 minutes, 5-0. I've really enjoyed this one. It's been really fun. Yes, I think it'll be 2 teams like this, 2 first 11s. I think they'll both play 70 to 90 minutes. I don't see a half-time rotation, solely because we haven't really got the players in the squad right. We have not got 44 players in the squad. I do think young players will feature. I think maybe players like Jaden Dans, Kumas, Ben Doak, players like McConnell as well. I don't know much about the centre halves. What's the fella? Is it Nallo? I believe that's his name. The proper young players, like who aren't. I know Engamo and Leonie are young players, but these are, I consider them first teamers now. You know what I mean? Oh shit! Right, guys, I've really enjoyed the stream. If you're not already, leave a like on the video. If you've watched this on catch up, thank you so much, guys. 10 a.m. Will there be live 10 a.m. tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know. I'll let you know tonight on the community tab if there's a live tomorrow at 10 a.m. If there will be, make sure you turn notifications on so you will get notified if I upload. Nice one, guys. Have a good day. Ta-da. And thank you to you on the